This isn't your typical marketing software ad because HubSpot ain't typical. It's marketing made easy. Turn one piece of content into assets for every channel, convert leads in no time, and get a crystal clear view of your campaign performance. HubSpot can do all that and get you results fast, like double your leads in 12 months fast. Yeah. See, told you this wasn't your typical software ad. Visit HubSpot.com/marketers to get started for free. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 19th. I'm John Weigell here with Mark Dent, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Coca-Cola has really had enough of Olipop and Poppi gallivanting around the soda market with their, quote, healthier sodas. So as a response, Coke brand Simply is running with the trend. Simply Pop will make its way into stores starting late this month, but is it too late to take millions of dollars in market share away from the healthy soda startups? We'll get into all that, but before we do, let's give you the news in business and tech. To start us off today, Spotify may release Music Pro, its hi-fi streaming service, this year, something it's been touting since 2021. The service, which is priced at about $6 a month as an add-on, could include features such as mixing songs together and access to pre-sale concert tickets. Mark, what do you make of this, and what do you think about these features?
I don't make a whole lot of these features. I understand what Spotify is going for. Everyone wants to premiumize their customer base, period.
Yeah.
But hi-fi streaming is no doubt a good innovation. The quality of songs that are streamed is really bad. It's not nearly as good as on vinyl, like you'd hear on CD, like from the master recordings. It's just not quality. But people have been listening to poor quality streamed music for 15 years now, and I just don't know that there's going to be a huge audience that's going to be like, well, give me that hi-fi. Mm-hmm. They're not even going to know what it is for the most part. And these other benefits are certainly benefits. I mean, I get access to pre-sale concert tickets from Spotify already, though. So maybe they're going to take that away from the regular users. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's taking away features and reserving them to you on a nice silver platter, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is interesting to me, especially the hi-fi audio situation, because I feel like Tidal has been doing this for quite some time. Yeah. And you see that their numbers are okay, but not nearly what you have at Spotify or Apple Music, which also Apple Music offers, Dolby surround sound audio as well. So it's a nice gesture. However, I'm not sure how many people will actually take advantage of it when it comes out, because that is a $6 a month add-on to something that is already increasing in price year over year anyways.
Right. I mean, if you do that, it becomes around $18. I mean, that's practically Netflix money right there.
I know. Next, in some product launch news, Nike is teaming up with Kim Kardashian's Skims in hopes to create a new fitness brand for women named Nike Skims. Very creative. The brand will launch apparel this spring and globally in 2026. Nike has a fresh focus on women athletes amid turnaround efforts under its new CEO, Elliott Hill, not to mention that women-led Super Bowl commercial that aired just a few weeks ago. And now we go to airlines. Southwest Airlines has been under tons of pressure to cut costs, and now the company says it's going to cut 15% of its corporate workforce, which is about 1,750 jobs. According to the CEO, this is Southwest's first large-scale layoff, and last year, if you remember, they removed their open seating model as part of these larger cost-cutting plans. Mark, some dark days ahead, it sounds like, for these budget airlines.
Very dark days. Spirit, as people know, may not even survive for too much longer. Southwest, it's really interesting. I've been working on a story related to layoffs, and I'd read some study or whatever about how they were like the model of never having to do layoffs. There's only like a handful of major companies that had never done serious layoffs. And now you can take Southwest off the list from that. And I think it just goes to show like how hard it is right now for them, because they've managed to literally not lay people off for decades. And now we're talking 15% of its corporate workforce, because it is Southwest and they haven't had these before. I do think these layoffs are clearly part of a new plan to really modernize the airline. And that's been its big problem with its delays. And, most famously from 2 years ago, is that their scheduling system is from 1994 pretty much. And so I do think that what they're trying to do is to like streamline and kind of just gear up for the future. And in that sense, the layoffs might make sense. However, as we know, they're never good and they never do make sense either.
Yeah, it's never good to hear. They're going through rapid changes, as you mentioned, so I'm sure your next Southwest trip may be a little different than one's previous, for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Okay, up next, we're talking Elon Musk. XAI released Grok 3 and said the new model outperformed competitors such as OpenAI's ChatGPT 4o and Google Gemini in testing. Simultaneously, X raised the price of its Premium Plus subscription with Grok. Talk about premiumizing. Now, if you want to be a X Premium Plus user, that'll be almost $50 a month from you or $350 per year. Take your pick. And finally, in some more Elon Musk-related news, Tesla looks to be staffing up in India. 13 jobs were posted on Tesla's LinkedIn, and all are located in Mumbai's metropolitan region. Tesla has been trying really hard to enter India for years, and tariff exceptions made in 2024 over there seem to now be their way in. And on to our main story today, Coca-Cola is getting close with brands like Olipop and Poppi with their latest offering called Simply Pop. So before we get into the competition here and everything around it, Mark, what is it exactly that Coke is putting out? What is this product?
Well, it's a carbonated prebiotic soda that's coming in different fruit flavors like strawberry, lime, and fruit punch. And there's going to be some fruit juice in there. I think maybe around 30% or so. And it's going to come out potentially for people who are on the West Coast, people who are living in the Southeast. According to CNBC, at least, it could be available as early as a couple weeks from now in late February. But if you look at the can and if you look at what appear to be the ingredients, I mean, these are just carbon copies of Olipop and Poppi, no question.
Yeah, it seems like it, kind of down to the prebiotic chemical as well, because Olipop and Poppi seem to have gained so much popularity from including that, which of course is alleged to potentially have some health benefits for your gut.
Yes, alleged and potentially are the key words, though.
You're really cranking on my journalism today.
But it's true, though. Like, the benefits are possible, but it's not conclusive.
Yeah, it's not conclusive, but regardless, the industry seems to be doing quite well. But just to back up for a second, Mark, how has the soda industry in general been doing, besides these kind of prebiotic / healthy options?
So it's been doing pretty poorly. I was actually looking up Pepsi's old annual reports earlier this morning. So back in like the 90s, the per capita consumption of soft drinks in the US was about 53 gallons per capita per year. To make sure people really know what that means, that's 50 gallons of soda per person per year.
Oh.
That's an awful lot of soda.
So much soda.
And it's gone down quite a bit since then, but it is around 35 to 40 gallons of soda per person per year in the US still. Roughly 1 out of every 5 people has at least 1 can of soda per day. So a lot of people are still drinking regular soft drinks, and it's still a huge, huge market. But you look at Coca-Cola, for instance, its revenues about 10 years ago were around $45 billion. Its revenues right now are around $45 billion. Mm-hmm. They've been flat, and frankly, worse than flat if you take into account inflation. So it's a tough industry right now for people like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, and these upstarts have really thrived. I think the question is, can Coca-Cola replicate their almost grassroots feel, I think? And, it might help that most people probably won't even recognize that Simply Pop is Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
They're just going to see it as Simply Pop.
Right. And Simply, I feel like, is a brand that's still seen with quite a bit of appreciation by some people. When it first came out, it was like the real orange juice, maybe not so much anymore, but that's definitely something that I feel like a lot of people associate it with. But the thing about this too, Mark, is that exactly as you're saying, Coke has been kind of stagnating. And a lot of that is due to some of their products doing better than others, right? You have Coke Zero, that is surprisingly a strong performer. Mm-hmm. And you have them investing in other alternatives, like, Coke invested a lot in Smart Water the past few years. Pepsi invested a lot in Life Water. So they're kind of trying to really diversify their set. And this, I guess, product is a new way to do that and enter this kind of prebiotic space for them.
Right. And I also think, these sodas are a bit more expensive than regular Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something like that. And frankly, a lot of the people who have ditched soda from their diets are people from higher income households. People I know who have kids, they're on the soccer team, right? But when we were growing up, John, it used to be we would afterwards have like a cooler and there'd be a bunch of Coke or Pepsi or Mr. Pibb or something like that in the cooler. None of those are in the cooler anymore after the soccer game. I'll put it to you that way. And so I just think that the potential market for these healthier sodas is just going to grow even more, and that these soda companies can probably jack up the prices for them quite a bit too if they wanted.
Yeah, and they seem to be doing quite well. At least Olipop and Poppi seem to be raking in millions and millions per year now, at least for the past 5 years. And Olipop's made a lot of deals. I'm sure you know about this, Mark, with a lot of sports stadiums. Intuit Dome is one big one in LA, the new one for the Clippers. So they have been kind of moving into Coke's territory or Pepsi's territory, which I'm sure they do not take too kindly to.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at Olipop's valuation, according to CNBC, its valuation is nearly $2 billion, which is obviously quite a significant figure. Also, according to CNBC, PepsiCo and Coke had tried to buy Olipop. And so I think it's just that thing of, yeah, they don't like Olipop and Poppi kind of infringing on their territory, and they tried to just buy them. So now it's like, we'll just join them instead and do what they're doing.
Yeah, right. I'm sure they could see what was going on and how it was a big deal, and they wanted to get it early, but they cannot be sold, and they're still doing it. But do you think that Coke has any big advantage? I mean, obviously they're the big corporation here, but do you think they have any huge advantage points over an Olipop, over a Poppi, and the momentum they've gained so far?
Obviously, they do have a distribution type of advantage just because of their size, but nevertheless, I don't know. I think that consumers kind of like these upstart brands. Again, realizing that a lot of people will just see Simply Pop and never even realize it's owned by Coke. But I do think, Poppi and Olipop, they have a first mover type of advantage, or at least, first or second mover advantage. And I think that they're going to continue to do well and frankly, probably shut off a lot of this competition.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you even have like emerging brands like, if you've heard of Sanzo Soda, who makes lychee flavor. They make different kinds of exciting new flavors. So I think, honestly, just looking at the can, just looking at these like Simply Pop cans, I think they're kind of outnumbered here in terms of branding. The branding on these Olipop, Poppi, Sanzo cans just looks a lot more Gen Z appealing, I think.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
The Simply Pop, the can looks kind of boring.
It does. It does look kind of boring. It looks like it would sit directly next to the Simply Orange Juice in the orange juice aisle and go untouched. But I guess that's something we'll have to see if they change their strategy on anytime soon, because as things are now, even though they're a big corporation, I agree with you. I think they're a few years behind, and it's kind of showing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. Go subscribe at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We will catch you tomorrow.
New year, new resolutions. And this year on the Best Idea Yet podcast, we're revealing the untold origin stories of the products you're obsessed with. And we promise you have never heard these before.
Ever wonder how the iconic Reese's Peanut Butter Cup was invented? Because it was by accident. H.B. Reese, a former frog salesman,
True story,
stumbled upon the idea after accidentally burning a batch of peanuts.
Classic.
Proving that sometimes our best ideas arise from what seem like our biggest mistakes.
And Jack, did you know there's a scientific explanation why humans crave that surprising combo of peanut butter and chocolate?
I didn't, but it sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
So, if you're looking to get inspired and creative this year, tune in to the Best Idea Yet. You can find us on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And if you're looking for more podcasts to help you start this year off right, check out New Year, New Mindset on the Wondery app. Who knows? Your next great idea could be an accident that you burned. This is Nick.
And this is Jack.
And we'll see you on the Best Idea Yet.